Assalamu'alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello, my name is Rahmanida Nisa, and I will tell you about my best day or my best moment in my life with my mother. For sometimes, I always felt that my life was like this, nothing was fun. But after remembering more or less, there were moments where I felt happy or sad at the same time. A moment where I feel that it is a small part of the best moment in my life. That moment was when I was in third grade in an elementary school, and at the time, I actually took almost a month off from school just to accompany my mother, who was sick at the time. I took care of him when he was in the hospital. She was treated for quite a long time, but somehow I felt happy to be with him at the time. The hospital for me used to be like home because I spent a lot of time there. At the time, I did not understand anything. I just followed my mother ordered at the time. When she wants to drink or eat, I get it. Things like that I do. Then one day, my father said that my mother had to be treated in hospital outside the city. Obviously, I could not come because I had taken a long time off from school. Then I was left with my brother-in-law at home. But after a few days, my mother returned home because I suddenly had a fever. I remember when I woke up, I slept in the chair. When I woke up, my mother was beside me, waiting for me to wake up. This is a part of my life that is enough to make me pensive toward myself when remembering this moment. Too beautiful for me, especially when it concerned to the moment with my mother. My mother did not go to hospital for treatment anymore. She was treated at my aunt's house. As before, I returned to accompanying my mother every day. If I go to school in the morning, then from noon until night, I accompany my mother, who still looks weak, lying down. Then at the end of February, that night I slept next to my mother, but at the time I didn't know that when I woke up I was already in my father's laps. At the time I still didn't understand until finally I found everyone in my aunt's house crying, as well as my father. He said that my mother passed away that night, and of course I knew that my mother passed away right beside me that night. I was very sadness by the sudden departure of my mother that night. I cried day and night without stopping. Then in the present, when I have grown up, I think a lot about that moment. Why should I make that moment the most beautiful moment of my life? Because now I feel that this is the time when I truly dedicate myself to my mother. I can always accompany her when it is the most beautiful thing for me. I accompanied her every to her last breath. It was the most beautiful moment for me. At last, at the time, I could help my mother a little, as well as accompany her in her most difficult circumstance. Maybe that's all for me. Sorry for my mistake. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.